This the TempahZone podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you listening to this podcast right here, it is episode 56 of the TempahZone podcast with your host, me, Amir Max, and that's all facts, aka Mr. Versatile, aka Young Steven A. Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the first episode of 2020, man. 2020 vision on them, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to get it going. We got a new spot out here. It's really dope. Shout out to my guy Jake over there, man. Getting his engineering on, man. Appreciate that. So I'm happy to have a new space and see where we go from here, man. It's dope having a new spot. Shout out to PRX Podcast Garage. 55 episodes with them helping me out doing everything. So I really gotta say shout out to them. They helped me get everything rolling, and I'll always keep in touch with all those people there. So it wasn't I didn't leave because I was like, yo, fuck them, man. Like, it wasn't like that. So it's all good people over there. All good vibes. So definitely shout out to them. But let's get into our special guest, y'all. My special guest here brings that soul, all right? She got that R&B flavor. If you're into that, definitely check her out. Music's fire, all right? Serious. Give it up for Eva Davenport. How's it going?
Thank you. It's going really good. How are you?
I'm great.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. You are the first guest in 2020, first guest in this new spot. So
that feels good.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
You're at a milestone with us here. So I'm happy to have you on. You sent me your music and I was just like, wow, this is really different from everything else that I'm hearing going on in the city. So I really like the vibe you go with, and I can tell too that you have some hip hop influences there as well. What would you say your biggest inspirations are just going into music? Who you say are artists that you take notes from?
Well, thank you for saying that. I definitely strive to just be authentically myself and follow what I want to talk about and really the vibes that go with who I am as a person.
Definitely.
I think a lot of my inspiration comes from neo soul artists like India Ari. Alicia Keys is one of my faves, R&B singer.
Yeah, Alicia Keys is she's just a beast with it. Like,
For
like
real.
no one can say anything bad about Alicia Keys. Like, if you do, I'm gonna judge you. Like,
Her earlier stuff is really my favorite. But like,
definitely.
yeah, a lot of 90s R&B influence.
Definitely.
And today as well, I love artists like SZA and her. Summer Walker, I really like her music too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Definitely. Those are all great artists. SZA, Summer Walker, her. I mess with all three of them a lot. Like, I always be listening to them. It's funny because don't you feel like R&B, like it's made like a pretty serious resurgence, I feel, but at the same time, don't you feel like a lot of R&B has become like a lot more like dark nowadays? Would you see it like that? Like, a lot of artists are like introverted. Like, The Weeknd's a very like, low key guy. Like, Summer Walker's very low key. Like, have you noticed that trend in R&B right now?
I would say that there's a market for that in the contemporary music scene for sure. But I don't think that maybe it has taken over like a majority of the popular R&B. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I feel like the days of the dancers behind the R&B like artists, like,
That's
it's still
true.
a thing, but like it's not as
poppin'.
Yeah, it's not as like prominent as it used to be, and I think part of that has to do with hip hop just becoming so much of the zeitgeist in America. So and I think in terms of R&B too, like artists are being less not giving a damn. So like more swearing in it, like, so I definitely think it's
That's true, actually.
yeah,
Right.
like you think
People
about
are saying whatever they want, kind of.
yeah, like like I think that's why a lot of people like The Weeknd. He has like hip hop subject matter, but he's an R&B singer. So like I think it's really dope what's happening with R&B. And I think a lot more people are just vibing with that. So I stay tuned into all that. So I want to ask you just about your beginnings with making music. When did it all start? When were you like, I'm gonna start singing or I'm gonna start rapping? Where did it all begin?
So my mom sang in reggae bands when she was pregnant with me. She
Awesome.
sang back up in a couple different bands. And I think that's really where music. I'm sure that that's where music like entered,
Yeah.
into my life. And my parents will say that I've been singing since I was born. So
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be a singer. Even as a little girl, I always knew I wanted to be a singer. I think I realized the professionalism in it.
Yeah.
And I realized like that break point of like, okay, it's not just, you don't sing or you're a superstar. It's like there's all these other levels to it, and you don't have to be famous to be successful in music.
That's a great point that you made there. And I think as artists, we deal with that from other people's perspectives. They see us doing music and they're thinking, oh, you're trying to be like the next Beyonce, you're trying to be the next this.
Yeah,
it's
and
like,
they think you're like struggling, and it is really difficult, and it takes a lot of grit and passion to make these things happen as an artist. Like without a team, it's a lot of work to make things happen, to book yourself and to put out projects, and these things are really, really expensive, and not a lot of the time are people willing to give artists a break. Like it's still, the same cost for a lot of things. So it's hard. You gotta like figure out like who you can barter with, like how you can make things work to like get your projects out there and do shoot music videos and stuff, because this is not cheap. And it's like we're starting out with like no budget. We're like, okay, here we go. It's a labor of love. But when you have that strength and that love for it, it makes it all worth it.
You do what you got to do to make it happen. You
meet the right people.
Definitely. People really don't understand how much money artists put into this. Like, none of this is not. All this is very expensive.
People don't know.
Studio sessions are not cheap. Music videos are if you want to do a good music video, it's like $500 minimum.
It's
minimum.
crazy.
Yeah. So people. I think if more people understood how much money goes into it, they would understand why people say support your local artist, support your local. People say it for
your artist.
Yeah.
For real. I was actually just having that conversation with my boyfriend the other day, talking about how like people will be so easy to make sure that they pay the videographer, the photographer, but like no one ever thinks off the top of their head really like, oh, I have to pay the artist.
Yeah, it doesn't
people
happen
often
as much.
think that the artist is just expecting not to get paid, and that's an unfortunate kind of thing that we have to go with. Like, I feel great when someone reaches out to me and they let me know off the bat, like, oh, I don't have a budget to pay from this show, but this is a community event. This is bringing people together. You can, have some people on the guest list and like here's some amenities, whatever. Like that feels good.
Yeah,
but when somebody just like hits you up and like, asks you to be on the show and doesn't let you know off rip, like this isn't going to pay you. It's just like, oh, so you just expect me to know that you're not paying me. Like,
and like you said, there's no amenities to it. Like there's nothing else you're going to offer it as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's very important. I always tell people when it comes to supporting the artist, go to the shows. That's the number one way. Buy the merch.
Just get tickets, even if you can't go to the shows. Like I do that all the time.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Get the merch. Yeah, for real.
I've had plenty of people just send me like $10, $20, just like, hey, I can't make it, but here's me supporting you for your show.
That's
like,
so nice.
Yeah, like I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Like it makes me feel good. Like, it lets me know there's people out here who actually have a lot of support for the artists, and they see what we do out here. So yeah,
there's a lot of people who support out here. And I was actually just at Cliff Notes show at Dorchester Arts Project last night with C4 and Forte and Shandy, Barefoot Shandy. They were all performing, and
where was that at?
Space was packed. Dorchester Arts Project.
Dorchester Arts Project. Okay. Yeah,
amazing spot.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that spot actually. Yeah, I've been talking to some people trying to get a show out there. So yeah,
you should. They just won Boston Music Award for like venue, small space venue in Boston.
Yeah, I actually saw that. Yeah, they definitely seem like they're doing a lot out here. So Definitely have to look into that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's so many supporters though. That show was sold out, you know, like I've been to a lot of shows for local artists lately that have been like so many supporters.
Yeah.
And a lot of people I don't know too. Like you see a lot of people you do know, you know, the same reoccurring supporting creative people, but like a lot of people who are coming into the scene and you know, newer people too. So there's a lot of support in Boston. Don't let people fool anybody by saying like there isn't people supporting musicians or arts in Boston, because there's so much.
Yeah, it's out here. You just gotta look for it. It's there. And I think a lot of people, they want to find a reason for why like they can't get support, so they'll blame it on the city they're from. They'll just be like, oh, Boston, you know, it's not enough support.
It's a bad rep.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it doesn't get the best rep. But I mean, what I will say, I really think, you know, in the, you know, the years coming, like I feel like the support in Boston for the music scene has really grown. I've really seen it unfold, and I really feel like 2019 was a year where I really saw a lot more artists just communicating with each other and just trying to work. So
yeah, definitely.
I think that goes a long way. Speaking of collaborating, how much do you go out of your way to try to work with other artists? Is that like a priority for you, or are you just trying to focus on just your own sound and what you do?
Well, I think the priority for me is just like really being honest with myself, with my art.
Gotcha.
Just really sharing what is true to me. So by going out to so many events, seeing artists perform, not only hearing their recordings, but like witnessing their performance, you know, in their element, that helps me to figure out who I want to collaborate with. You know, it's not like I'm like just like thinking like I always want to be collaborating. Like I always want to be creating. But I think that I'm really inspired to collaborate when I like make that connection with somebody. I've like heard their music, I've seen them live, you know, I've gotten to like witness the power that they have and how we can best connect our music together too.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think you know, when you know make these relationships happen, when you meet all these people, you know, you realize what other people bring to the table that you never realized before, and you can, you know, you see how, you know, I wash my hand, if you wash your, you know, you wash yours. So it's, you know, it's that mentality I think more people need to get into. It's not like we have to work with every artist we meet, but I think, you know, just as artists, we definitely need to build a community. Like we should all know each other. I feel like we're all like, you know, working together, like, you know, we're in the same, you know, work for the same job. So
yeah,
that's the way I see it. But
there's so many artists out here.
so there's so many artists, so like of all sounds, of all styles. Like it's you know, people just need to look into it. You know, they think that there's not enough, you know, of R&B in the city, or there's not enough you know, dance hall artists in the city. Like this thing is just a bunch of rappers. I'm like, no, look around. Like there's, you know, there's a lot more going on. So
definitely, there's a ton. Yeah, and on collabing too. I wanted to mention this last year. I was lucky enough to actually. 2018 was my first year of releasing music.
Okay.
So
I was actually gonna ask you when you first started releasing music. So you said 2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
2018. Yeah, I had been working. So I went to Berklee College of Music in 2014.
Nice.
I went there for like 2 years.
Did you go for vocals, for singing?
For songwriting too.
Okay. Nice.
And music business. So, you know, I wanted to learn a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
Just to do what I'm doing now, and furthermore, you know, that artistry as a solo artist as well. Kind of just be able to do it myself. So I got to learn that at Berklee, and I got picked up by some cover bands, some local cover bands. I sang professionally with cover bands for a while. And I'm still doing that, but I picked up, you know, booking for myself as a solo artist about 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I've been doing that for 2 years and recording as an artist. But this year was the first year that I actually got to put out collaborations.
Okay.
And I worked with Red Shades, who is an incredible local artist.
Just met her last week, actually. I was on It's Boston, and she was there. She was on.
Cool.
So yeah, she's good people. Definitely.
Yeah, shout out to them. Definitely.
Yeah, they're all those. Yeah, Sam, Show, all of them. They're all really dope.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. Yeah, she's another good artist out here too. So yeah, it's good that y'all collab with each other. Speaking of her, on Letters to Self, the EP that you dropped, you two have a song together, Handle It.
Handle It.
How did that one come about?
So I had been really wanting to ask her to feature on that song for maybe like 2 months.
Yeah.
I was super nervous. She's just, I had seen her perform at a Labs event. Shout out to the Labs, the Lab Showcase.
Yeah, I've been hearing about the Lab Showcase. Yeah.
By Abdul Johnson and Move Like Zay. It's an awesome showcase. But I saw her perform for that, and she mentioned her EP release party for the Sitting in the Shade EP, I think it is. Was like the next day or something. So I got to go to that, and just, she explained every song in detail, and it was just a very, very connective moment. And I really felt like I knew what each song really meant to her.
Yeah,
and that was very powerful for me as a songwriter and an artist, and that being like one of the first kind of EP release shows that I had ever really been to, put on by a solo artist. So it was like so crazy inspiring for me.
And on top of that, you probably really were into the music too. So
much, yeah. incredible music. So that was like a pivotal, inspiring moment, and I had wanted her to be on that song ever since, and I asked her to do that song. Shortly after, she said yes. I was so excited. Shortly after, she asked me to do feature on her song Come Here Little Baby, which is the first song off her upcoming album.
Cool. And the song Handle, is that the first song off Letters to Self? Is that the first?
That is the first song.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Handle It. Yes.
Yeah. So, in terms of like structure, on EPs, like, do you take that very seriously? Like, you like, all right, track 3's got to be this, track 4's got to be that. Like, how do you piece out your track listing when you're putting together a project?
That's a good question. This was my first project.
Okay.
So this is my first experience with that.
Yeah.
But I really just kept continuing to listen and placing things where I thought it made sense, and just listening to it in order over and over again, and figured it out that way. Also, the way that the explanations of the songs too, I started the song with, I started the EP with Handle It. The first lyrics are "Wake up, wake up." So
Bingo.
It's just a beginning. That's
a good one to choose for the intro.
It's a beginning, and then making the last song Vibe, because that was a song that was really like just talking about getting over whatever is holding you back. So both ends of the EP were kind of like the healing ends of the EP, and then
gotcha.
Yeah.
And it's I mentioned the track list because while some people might not realize like how like important it is, it's so important. Like you really want to make sure like there's a specific message you want to get across in that order. It doesn't have to be completely cohesive and things. It doesn't have to be like super detailed with it, but it's definitely important how you list which songs you want to go in which order. So
yeah,
definitely something to pay attention to. I want to talk to you just about just real quick just about like EPs and like full length projects, projects with over like 10 songs. Do you think in your position as an artist, do you think it would make sense to put out like a 15 track album, or do you think that that's for another time? You think that's later on?
That's a good question. I just felt that it was right for me to release originally the single first. I released my single Bang Bang.
Okay.
And a music video together in 2018.
Okay. Nice.
And then this EP in this past year. So with the single release, that was because I really wanted to put something out there. I wanted people to know, on paper, on the internet, I was an artist. I had this recorded song out there.
Gotcha.
It wasn't just like, yes, I know I am an artist, but no, unfortunately, I don't have anything. You can't look me up.
Yeah.
Like it felt so,
that's always a weird feeling. Yeah.
It didn't feel great to say that. Like I wanted there to be something that I was proud of, that people could look up, even if it wasn't like the most perfect thing ever, because it's hard being an artist and you want your art to be so perfect, but
oh yeah, definitely.
You want to make sure you have the best product,
especially if you're gonna pay to to get it up on Spotify and iTunes.
Pay to record it, everything.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, all that.
So,
yeah. Just in general, you're putting all this money into it. You want to make sure you're making the best product possible. It's such a good feeling though to tell people like, yeah, I'm on Spotify and iTunes. It does feel pretty cool.
I'm on all streaming platforms. It's like anywhere.
Just Google me. No.
Google me.
No, it's definitely pretty cool. I definitely
it's good.
To be honest though, just to say it, it's not that hard to be on streaming platforms, y'all. There's digital distributors that you can get up there, because I feel like a lot of people. DistroKid, TuneCore, United Masters. It's all there. And I've had a lot of artists ask me how they even get on those platforms. So there you go. Check out those platforms.
Go on the website.
Yeah. What do you use? DistroKid?
I've used both DistroKid and TuneCore.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been more of a DistroKid. Like I like
lately.
Yeah. Yes, as of lately. Yeah. But I've heard with DistroKid, like if you have problems with it, like they're probably not gonna help you out. Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. So if you ever have issues with DistroKid, it's very unlikely that they'll help you out with that. So So there's a heads up on that. I want to ask you about Blaze Up. I like the vibe on that one. So
thank you.
Obviously, I mean, you could assume what the song was about, but what inspired you to make a song like that?
Well, initially the beat inspired me.
Mm-hmm.
I just heard the beat and started writing to it. But it wasn't only because clearly, I'm talking about smoking Mary Jane in the song. But it wasn't just about that though. It's about, people making you kind of sometimes people will try to, dim your lights. And just remembering to boss up and just being like, no, I'm always on my shit. Like, I'm just gonna, smoke a little real quick and like be back on my good vibes, and nobody is gonna make me feel like I'm less than what I am as a person, because I know that I'm doing the great things that I need to be doing. So it was just kind of like one of those real quick, like, boss up songs.
Yeah, that's dope. I like that message a lot. Definitely. And there's more to it than just let's get high. There's more to it. So I like that. I like that. There's layers to it, and I think songs like that definitely go a long way. Definitely something to spark up to. That's for sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
It's nice.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. That's probably one of my favorite tracks on the project. Yeah.
Thank you.
They're all good. These are all really good songs, and that's why I mentioned to you about whether you do EP or longer than that, because I feel like as artists we have yet to prove ourselves to people. So to give them 20 tracks, I feel like you're overwhelming them.
I do think 20 tracks is overwhelming.
Yeah,
15 I think is a little overwhelming too, to be honest.
Yeah, I think 10 is the sweet spot. I think a 10-track album, I think that's the perfect amount.
I agree. Yeah. I like that.
Especially for us. Like, it's one thing if you're Chance the Rapper and you can drop 30-track album, they're gonna listen. Like Chris Brown, he did that with his project, because he's Chris Brown, he can drop a 3-hour album. So but I think for us as artists, think less is more at this point.
I mean, it all depends.
You're right though.
I feel like it's person to person. I personally feel where I'm at right now, I wouldn't want to release a 15 to 20 song project.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to release that at this moment, and I could be saying that too years down the road when I've released 3 or 4 albums. And maybe I have already released a 15 to 20 song project that could still not be ready at that moment. You know what I mean? So it depends where you're at.
Definitely.
I feel like after this EP, I definitely want to release an album. And,
there you go.
Things are in the works. So I'm really excited about that. I have a bunch of songs already written.
Definitely. I feel like with your music, I could totally see you having the live band. You ever thought about having like a live band?
Yeah, definitely.
Stuff?
I've worked with a live band a couple times. Yeah, thanks for that. I had one on my EP release show at the Mad Music Mill.
Oh, Mad Music Mill. Okay, yeah, that's a cool venue. Yeah, I've been there a couple times.
Shout out to them. That was that was on August 30th of 2019. So I released the EP on my birthday, the 26th.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Dope.
Virgo Nation.
Hey, shout out to the Virgos. Word up, word
up. Yeah, the EP release show was incredible at Mad Music Mill. I had a
good
full
vibes,
band
bunch of people,
dancers, and
awesome.
bunch of opening artists, incredible opening artists. Actually, another one of the collabs I did in 2019 that I wanted to mention was the Fuck It We'll Do It Ourselves mixtape with Alexander Fede.
Yes. Yep.
So he produced and put together that entire project with I believe 18 to 2018 artists from Boston, so a bunch of local artists from Boston on the same mixtape on SoundCloud. It's a dope mixtape, and he put together a music video. So it's like a DJ mix of all the songs, like 1 to 2 minutes of every song, all going into this long, like 15-minute music video. But it's dope.
I'm about to check it out. Yeah,
it's really eye-catching. It like definitely like keeps your attention the whole time. And I'm in the video a bunch in like a million different outfits. So it was really fun to be a part of that and like style myself for a bunch of different things. And I was featured on 2 songs on that project.
That's
a song
dope.
Called Counting with myself and Alex.
Okay.
And beautiful song. I love it so much. And then a song called Intentions with Nancia and Alex. And that song, so amazing as well. That's also on Nancia's album that she just dropped to Heir to the Throne. So, yeah.
I got some stuff I got to check out.
Couple collabs.
Yeah, I got to check that out.
Great.
Yeah, I haven't heard the collabs that you did. But I'm definitely going to have to check that out now for sure.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to ask you just one more question about Letters to Self. The title. Why did you name it Letters to Self? What made you say we're going to go with that title?
Thank you.
I feel like there's some deep, it sounds very deep. So I just wanted to know where you were coming from.
Thanks.
With that. Yeah.
That's a really meaningful question.
I got you.
I brought the CD with me.
Oh, okay.
I brought the CD with me, but yeah.
That's dope.
We can probably pull up like a picture of it or something. But yeah, have you seen it?
Oh, I've seen the cover. Yeah. I've never seen the hardcover though.
Yeah, it's really cool to like hold your CD in your hand.
Yeah, no, that's a flex.
It made me cry.
Nah, it's dope. I mean, like, it's definitely like still like value to having the cover and the CD.
Oh my gosh,
something
it's
physical.
So incredible. Yeah, it feels really good.
And that's cool. The what's it called? The back cover.
Thank you.
Piece of paper.
With the paper.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. Shout out to Sierra Brooks and Afrolia Productions for this.
They did that design
work. They helped me design this. Just put everything into place.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Letters to Self, this being my first project, I had I was, in the initial process of putting together this first project, I thought about how I wanted to portray my artistry.
Gotcha.
And what was most important to me, and that was definitely being honest with, getting through day to day, being strong, being positive, uplifting, motivating people. Those are all really like my core values, like what's most important to me, just like
definitely
motivating, feeling happy, and making sure that we're all doing what we're meant to be doing, following our passions. So that was kind of where Letters to Self came from. This is
That's dope.
Letters that I've written for me, by myself, that I want to share with others and inspire others to be positive and follow what they're meant to be doing in their lives.
Hell yeah.
So
that's a message people can get behind for sure. Yeah. In terms of like you being it's you're very honest in your music. You definitely get that vibe listening to it. Did it ever scare you to like get these songs off your chest? Like was it ever like, ooh, I can't believe I'm about to put this song out? Or you were just like, I don't care, we're gonna put it out?
Absolutely. My song Lesson,
Mm-hmm.
I speak on some really painful, difficult things that my family, specifically my siblings and my mom, went through. And I performed that before releasing it. I performed it, and the first time I performed it, my mom and my siblings and my grandmother were all there. So that was really, really difficult to get through, and I actually have my back turned to the audience because I was crying, like kind of like uncontrollably while I was singing that for the first time.
Powerful. Yeah. That's when you know a song has, serious message behind it. When you perform it and you're like, oh shoot, like
It was really
fight tears back, like, oh snap. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. I really speak on some things, and I don't know if I have been able to have these conversations with my family. This kind of like opened up myself being able to communicate with them about, abuse and different things that we had been through from other people. So that we all had lived through together. So releasing that, recording that was every single time. Yeah. It was a journey, but it was really worth it. And I encourage everyone, every time I perform that song, actually, I remind people in the audience to speak on what is difficult and not keep things hidden, not keep things undercover, know, things that are difficult with, especially with people that you love.
Definitely.
Just speaking on what is painful, or the things that you think that you can't talk about, even writing them out. So I try to encourage everybody to like talk about those difficult things.
Definitely.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard.
It's no one's saying it's easy to deal with those circumstances. But I definitely think it's very important for people to talk about these things to somebody. And that's why like something like therapy is really dope. Just being an artist and getting the message out there, and not only just you putting out the music, but people who receive it. That's gonna help too. And I think we need more artists to delve into these topics, serious topics that, not a lot of artists are talking about, because, we all party, we all drink, we all smoke, we all, fall in love, like those are all great topics, but, every now and then, sometimes as artists, we got to get into that, those other sides that, need to be addressed. And, it goes a long way, and I think that's the reason why, your music has been getting out there, because I think people, when you keep it real and, you're honest with your music, I really think it resonates, I think you probably have noticed that, in terms of the music you've been putting out. Has anyone ever come up to you and like, hey, like this song did this for me, or that song did that for me? Has that happened to you?
Those have been the best moments.
I was just about to say those are some of the best moments as artists. Yeah, you're like, damn, like my song did that. Yeah,
moments. Really realizing the power in your own words, even for yourself sometimes too,
Oh yeah.
I'll handle it to myself whenever I'm having a bad day. For real. I'm just like, come on, get up. Like, it's fine. Like, you're going, like, this is fine. Like, you don't need to be chilling here, like, sad or upset about something that happened, when you can be using this time to your advantage. No time to waste. Like, let's go.
No, you got to keep it rolling. You got to keep it rolling. And speaking of that, in terms of just trying to get your content out there and putting out music, what would you say is one thing that like just super drives you to want to be successful as a musician? What keeps you going?
Well, I've always known
you
that.
Want to prove people wrong?
No.
Some people, some people work off of vengeance. Some people work from crazy mindsets. So you never know. Some people do it solely because for their mama. It's always different reasons. So,
definitely, everybody has different reasons.
Oh yeah, definitely.
No, honestly, I believe that everyone has different purposes in life, and one of my strongest purposes is to inspire other people to follow their passion. And I do that through music. So I've always known that, I wanted to be a singer. I've been able to do it in different ways, and I have always really known that I wanted to be a solo artist too, but I kind of had to find that way as well because I didn't know how to go about it.
For sure. Yeah.
So yeah, just continuing to live in my truth and be happy, follow, what makes me happy, speak on what is honest and positive to others. Everything isn't always positive, obviously. Lesson is a sad song. There's a lot of times where you have to be in your element and speak
Sometimes you have to be vulnerable.
Yeah, when you're feeling really low, and that's okay too. Everything doesn't have to be so happy. Life is the yin and the yang.
Exactly. Yes, the yin and the yang.
Equality of both. So, but yeah, I wanna do positive things with this platform too. I wanna inspire people to work together, and I started Arts Underground, a local all arts showcase in June.
Yep, I think I've been seeing that around. Yep.
Yeah, so starting that showcase was a turning point for me too, and just being able to give other artists opportunities and meet people, and work with them on their level, and gain that respect, be able to just put people on that. That makes me really happy to be able to put together things for the community and build community, and booking for the jungle as well.
Definitely, yeah, that's big. That's big. For the video, people watching the video went out, so
we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Yeah, I don't know how I'm doing the editing wise, but we back now. You were talking about the Labs event.
I was actually talking about Arts Underground. Shout out to
Arts
Labs.
Underground. Yeah,
Yes.
Dive into that more. How you got that event together?
Arts Underground, yeah. So that started in June, and I had wanted to do a showcase for a little while. Actually, it's funny you say Labs because that was one of the showcases that really inspired me to come forth with with Arts Underground showcase.
Yeah.
So yeah, just an all arts showcase was the idea, bringing together, photography element with artists, visual artists, as well as musician artists.
Definitely.
Bringing together different genres. I really wanted something that was very dynamic and well thought out. Not just like anybody who reached out was put on a show, but it was like anybody who reached out, it was thought out and really planned, that the set of artists made sense together.
For sure. Yeah.
And people would, enjoy the lineup.
And nothing got boring, nothing got
and stay for it too. And so something that was really, everybody's talents really complemented one another. So that was the kind of base of Arts Underground, and a safe space as well, somewhere where anybody could feel welcome and safe and happy and have a good time.
Oh yeah, good vibes all around.
We included food.
Okay.
And we did it in underground 420 friendly spaces.
Nice.
So it was really, really fun, and I'm getting into doing it again. I was taking a little hiatus for a while, so I'm excited to get that up and running again. I recently started booking for the jungle as well in Somerville. I started that last month, so I've been doing it for I think a month and a half now.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm booking a couple days at the jungle every week.
So you're looking for some artists to book for that?
I am, definitely. Looking for all different genres. Yep.
Hit her up. Let's make it happen.
A good opportunity for you guys. So please reach out.
Hell yeah. For sure.
Want to help people make money,
And just get their name out there. Just get the reps in terms of performing.
For sure.
Oh yeah. Very important to try to get as many shows as you can. So
yeah, we host an open jam mic session every Wednesday as well. So that's open and free to the public every Wednesday at the jungle.
Hell yeah. Dope. I want to ask you just in terms of advice you would give to artists. What's some advice you would give to someone who's starting out right now? Like just anything. Just what's some pointers that you would give them that you wish someone told you when you first got started?
My number one piece of advice is support other artists. Literally, go to other artist shows.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
straight up, like go to other artist shows. Like, not only will people see you and notice that you're there supporting other artists and think about you the next time they see you and be like, oh, this person's, coming around. Like, this person supports, they must be dope. Like, so not only will people have a good impression of you, but you'll get inspired from what they're doing. You're putting your money in the right place if this event costs something, because it's going towards the arts, even if maybe it's not going directly towards the artist, which needs to be worked on.
Yeah,
but
that's
another story.
That's another story, yeah.
That would be my number one piece of advice. Go to shows, like get yourself inspired, learn what you can do, through the eyes of others, and network and just be present for other people's art, because that's really what we all need. Like, we all need to be supporting one another. That's how we're gonna grow. It's not gonna be like just one person making
not
it.
at all.
People don't really make it by themselves.
No one makes it by themselves.
Even if
they
you got a team, like you make it when people are supporting you, and like you have a fan base. Like, people supporting you and you supporting them is how the world gets around.
Way. Yeah, and while some artists, they look like they do things on their own, but really they got a team behind them. Like they usually got some people behind them helping them out in the process. Very rarely are people one-man teams or one-woman teams. So, I think that's very good advice for the new artists to hear. Just try to meet as many people you can out here. Get your face out there. It's very important. Don't be shy. Get yourself get the word out there. So that's dope. Is there anything you want to plug for the people? Anything you want to get out there? Anything you want to shout out?
Definitely. Yeah, for sure. I have 2 shows coming up that I would like to promote.
Yeah, let them know.
Thank you. Yeah, I hadn't done any shows this month yet, and I was kind of like feeling a little like I was being lazy, but I was in the studio and working on different things. So it's weird, like when you're used to performing and then you're not, you feel like,
something's
what's
missing.
going on? But
it
was good. It's been really good. Got a lot of projects in the works. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, on Thursday this week, I'll be at Maggie's Lounge. I'm really looking forward to this show. Please hit me up for a ticket link, because the support's going both to myself and the QNC Entertainment. But yeah, I have a show at Maggie's Lounge on Thursday. There's a couple other dope artists, Marianne Murray, and Eva Sophia, a couple other really, really dope artists. Those are my girls. So Amore. So please come out to that on Thursday.
Hell yeah.
And then the following week on Friday, I'm performing for Impeccable Fest in Lynn.
Okay. Dope.
I can send the info about that, but I have a flyer too for that. So anybody who's interested, please reach out to me. I'll send you ticket links, flyer, whatever you need. And that's going to be a really cool show with a bunch of artists, and not only music, but visual artists, fashion vendors, a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot. It's a lot going on. Yeah, more than just performances. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it's definitely something for people there to get into, just outside of music. So
for sure.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope.
And I'm hosting a fashion show that night, high-end fashion show.
Okay, getting the hosting
in
bag.
Brockton.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been hosting a little bit with Arts Underground,
That's
so
dope.
I'm excited to get into that for other events. Yeah. And then I'd also like to plug a couple events coming up at the Jungle that I've booked for this month. So on Tuesday, we've got Eva Sophia, Barefoot Shandy, and Marianne Murray performing at the Jungle. So definitely go check that out. That's a free show. They're all amazing.
It's free. You gotta pop up.
It's free.
Yeah.
Wednesday night is the open mic with Sassy and Borderline. So they have a theme for the event. They've put a lot of heart into it. So that's gonna be amazing. That
one's next week Wednesday?
That's this Wednesday, actually. So that's this Tuesday and Wednesday at the Jungle. Both free.
Nice,
and then, donations appreciated, of course.
Goes a long way.
Yes. Next Tuesday, there's an event called Trapped in the Jungle, put together by Poppy Shampoo. So you guys should definitely go check that out. It's like a trap R&B event, and that's also free.
Hell yeah.
So these events are free or, donation based. And then Wednesday will be an open vibe at the Jungle next week.
Hell yeah.
And the following week, Borderline is having a hip hop and video game event. So he's going to have like a bunch of video game consoles set up. This is the first time doing something like this.
That's cool.
And you're playing video games while like listening to your favorite like nerd rap artists.
Yeah.
A bunch of local artists who have some cool like similar music to that. So that'll be the following Tuesday.
Okay.
So those are all the events this week at the this month at the Jungle.
Hell yeah.
And I'm always down to help people book and collaborate. Put together events. Come to me with ideas. If you want to try something out, the Jungle is a great place to put something on. So yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's great. Eva, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm glad we were able to make it happen. And make sure y'all hit up Eva, check out her EP. Make sure to hit her up for events. You got a lot going on
Thursday.
Yeah, hit her
Maggie's
up.
Lounge.
Oh yeah. There's a lot going on here. So stay busy out here. And once again, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you.
That's episode 56, y'all. Tune in next time, all right? Peace.